Hey everybody, welcome back to Homeopathy at Home with Melissa. Hey Melissa.
Hey, I'm excited for Materia Medica Monday.
Yeah, we're back for another one. I think it's just our second one so far.
Hmm.
But today we're going to be doing Aurum Metallicum.
Yeah.
It's
Do
not
you know what
super long. Go
do you
ahead.
know what Metallicum is?
I don't. I was actually going to ask you.
It's gold. Gold.
That
Yeah.
makes sense because on the periodic table, I almost forgot what that's even called. That's how long it's been. I think gold is AU.
Uh-huh.
Don't
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong on
Yeah.
public
I think
radio.
you're right.
Just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, that's so interesting. Okay, I always am fascinated. That is a really fascinating part of homeopathy to me. And I don't know if everybody is into that as I am, but
Yeah.
what they are made of and seeing the correlation of
Mhm.
how they can stimulate our bodies and what they're
Yeah.
made from is so cool. So
Yeah.
today we're covering
Yeah.
Aramet.
I think there will probably be something along the lines when I'm looking at my notes where I can connect gold, but
Well,
we'll
you
see.
definitely can. I have scanned this and I can but it's almost like a surface, like a flashy, the mental
Yeah.
part is
Yes.
you're the gold, you're the best,
So
but
cool.
inside you're not. So anyway, let's
Yeah.
talk about
So
Aramet.
Aurum Met is a big grief remedy. So you often hear of Natmur and Ignatia for grief, but don't forget Aurum Met. Aurum Met is a big grief remedy, and great for depression. And this person might have a perfectionistic attitude where they want everything to be perfect, which can drive you to
Mm,
anxiety and depression. And I'm,
yeah.
I'm speaking from experience. I've been there. I literally wanted everything to be perfect. And then if it couldn't be, then I just didn't do anything at all.
Mm,
And nothing got done. And then
okay.
I didn't like that the house
Yeah, it's like a
wasn't,
cycle.
yeah, it's a vicious cycle. I would clean all day on Saturday, spend my entire Saturday cleaning. It would be so beautiful and perfect. And then Sunday morning, by Sunday with kids, by Sunday, mess. And I was like, I spent my whole then I'm mad. I mean, yeah, that was a long time ago. Done with all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it's that perfectionistic attitude can bring on anxiety or depression. Aramet is industrious or might be industrious. And they like to achieve, they're achievers. They want to go for the best, and only the best will do.
Here's your gold.
So yeah, this is your goal.
Yeah.
Gold is it. They won't allow any faults. They won't allow themselves to mess up or have faults or show their faults. No weaknesses at all. They don't want anybody to see their weaknesses. They don't want to show any of their weaknesses. Mistakes become critical. So this is when the Aurum Met child makes a mistake in school or in schoolwork, it's a big deal to them. And it's not that a parent has done anything or anybody or teacher has made
Right.
them, it's their unmet expectations of themselves that they should never make mistakes. And when they do, it's a really big deal to them. And they will
But does,
beat themselves up.
and do you have you found maybe in your, I don't know what your thoughts are about this, where like specifically maybe a child, their perception of I have done this thing so that people must feel this way about me.
Mhm.
Is that an RM Met thing, or is that is it more their own internal, I'm mad that I messed up?
I think it's more that they're mad that they messed up. Like they
Okay.
don't allow themselves to make mistakes. They can't be
Okay.
weak. They can't make mistakes. Gold is very strong. And isn't it?
Gold is actually, well, I feel like gold might be soft.
I do too. Because now and when I was thinking about it, I have gold rings that are all bent up.
Yeah, but it's
So
very flashy on the outside.
true.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, there it's like it's enticing and almost like seductive. Like you see gold and people like it's magnetizing. You
Exactly.
want gold. You want that thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
beautiful on the
attractive.
outside, but
And
is
that's what
yeah.
soft, beautiful, but soft. Oh,
Yeah.
so they beat
Very
themselves up,
highly valuable. So,
and
so are you if you're the person
mhm,
who feels like
that's
this.
right. That's right. And so this is the RMET child is the head of the class. He's he or she is top of the class, makes straight A's in all the honors classes. And they put pressure on themselves to be the best. Only the best will do. Their emotions become inconvenient. They don't have time for that. They don't want to deal with that. They don't have they don't want to deal with emotions. Emotions just get in the way of what they have to accomplish because they have to achieve all the things. They don't want to deal with emotions, get in the way. And spontaneity does not get you where you want to go. They are not spontaneous. They have a mission. They know where they're going. They're on the straight and narrow. They have a plan and they're following it. They're not going to be spontaneous. You're not going to grab arm mat
Yeah,
and
like
say, let's go.
spontaneity is too frivolous and fun.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah,
focused
that's
on
right.
their mission.
It's it's like irresponsible. You're not going to grab an arm mat and say, let's go to the beach for the weekend.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you what.
So would
Yeah,
you
I
give
don't know
this to
what,
people?
huh? Oh,
Like,
I
would you
do a
give this to
lot.
people before so not necessarily depression because of that, but even if they're these overachievers, perfectionists, like, would you give it in that circumstance anyway?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
because if there's problems, okay, so if it's disrupting their life or their loved ones' lives, right? So if you have an arm met kid and you're the parent and you're making healthcare decisions for this child and this behavior is disrupting your life, yeah, we
Okay.
have to remember that we're not homeopathy isn't changing your personality. It's not changing who you are. It's helping you to deal with these things in an appropriate way. So
Right.
it's helping you to, just like with grief, if there's a grief, we're not going to give you RMET when your dog died because we want to stop you from grieving. It has more to help. Let's help you move through it in an appropriate way. So I don't know what I would do without spontaneity. I love it. I'll tell you what, my friend Lisa, how old? I think I was 18. I was 18 or 19. She just came over to my house one day. She was like, "You want to move to Hickory?" And so we lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Hickory is about 2 hours away from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's Hickory, North Carolina. She said, "You want to move to Hickory?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go." I,
What?
literally, yeah, let's just move. Let's go.
Yeah, you didn't ask like, oh, why do you want to move there? Like, what are we gonna do there? You're just, let's go. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah, let's go.
Wow, that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
did we have fun? I mean, we had fun.
And you really
And
did
so,
it. So you followed through and moved.
oh yeah. And without a second thought I lived with my mom, really just because it was just me and her, and we just shared the house. We both, I paid bills. I bought the food and I cooked and stuff. But anyway, it was, I didn't even think about what it was going to do to my poor mama. She was so sad. She was so sad. And I was like, but I'm having so much fun.
You're like, and I didn't think about that. I don't have time for that. Don't be sad.
But she didn't let me know it until later, years later. I didn't know
Oh,
how hard it was on her. I was having so much fun.
what a
But
sweet little mom. That's like something a mom would do. Be like,
mm,
I'm not gonna bother you with. Okay, that's so sad.
right? She's so sweet. But yeah, so spontaneity, I mean, yeah. If you call me and say, let's go to the beach this weekend, I'm out. If I don't have something I have to do, let's go. So you can't do that to Arm Matt. If I was Arm Matt, I would have been like, whoa, Lisa, I have a job. And I know I had a job. I always have had a job. So um yeah, they're serious. They're very serious people, and fun just gets in the way. They can be very funny. They can be very funny people. They can tell lots of jokes, and they can be there can be these are the comedians who
Mhm.
suffer from depression. Who is that? There's two.
I
Well,
mean,
there's a
there,
lot.
Robin Murphy, Robin Murphy, not Rob. I now I
I
can't.
know
Robin
his
Williams,
Willie. So
right?
funny because listen, yes, last night we were doing a live Q&A with Joette, and she said Williams, and she meant Robin Murphy.
Oh,
And just now you did the
that
opposite.
is so weird. That's funny. I mean, I talk about Robin Murphy way more than I talk about Robin Williams, but he
Yeah,
was one.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so he needed arm met. Hmm. He probably needed Jesus, but what I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not, that's not a judgment. You know, I'm saying that from a place
Yes.
of
He
Jesus is
probably
our
really did
healer.
not. He would, yes.
Okay,
That's
that
okay.
didn't come out
I get
right.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. So this is RMET might be self-destructive, suicidal. So this is a deep hopelessness of a depression where they might RMET is not just they don't just think about suicide or even tell people they are thinking about suicide. They know what they're going to do and they have the tools to do it. They're serious when they get to this point. um, and once they achieve the thing that they're after, that they're trying to achieve, then and it doesn't make them happy. Isn't
Mm.
that so many people in life today? So hear me. I'm not saying that if you're like that, you achieve something and then it doesn't make you happy, then you go to achieve something else and it doesn't make you happy. I'm not saying that that single thing
Right.
says you means you need are met. Um, but really, again, that to me speaks Jesus. The people that are just out there searching, they're searching for the thing. Where's the thing that's going to make me happy? The food, the alcohol, the drugs, the sex, the course junkie, you know,
Right.
the business. What is it? The workaholic. When you're
There's like
searching,
so
searching,
much stuff.
searching.
Yeah. I mean, you could do your own image, your body,
Yeah.
money, a job title. You could put that expectation on yourself as a stay-at-home mom. Like there's a certain level of all these things I have to do and decorating your house. I can go all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is really Jesus is the only one that can bring that true lasting happiness.
Yeah.
Um, so they're always looking what they have not got. They're competitive, incredibly materialistic,
Mhm.
gold.
Yep.
They're very materialistic. If things go wrong, if they lose their business, it's devastating. They're devastated. If they lose money, if they lose relationship, when they lose things, when they okay. So think about if you've had you know a real gold ring or earrings or whatever, and it cost more money than fake gold, and you lose it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to find it. And you're looking everywhere for it. The loss when they lose something, especially in relationships or money,
And that's
they
probably
are
their failure. They interpret that as failure. Like I
yeah,
did not achieve.
yeah, and they have a huge fear of failure. So that yes, that lines up with that. And then they have ailments. So if they lose their job or lose, let's say I don't know, stock market or investments or whatever with their money and they lose it, then they get sick in their body because it
Mm.
affects them like that. They want to be the best. They're dutiful. They might carry a lot of guilt. They feel that they've done something wrong. They're just always like, I feel like I've done something wrong. They feel they've replaced, or sorry, neglected their duty. Um, just being the best and doing their best is their driving force. They might feel forsaken. So they might feel lonely. They feel like they have to do everything themselves. So now you're looking kind of like the mom who, is at home doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, and
Yeah.
she starts feeling introspective and thinking, I do everything around here. I feel lonely. I feel because everybody's got their things, the kids are doing their sports and husband's working, and here I am. And I'm just all by myself and I'm doing everything by myself. And and they haven't got the emotional bonds of friendships for that emotional, they don't have the community.
Mm,
They don't have, because they don't have time for emotions. So they don't build those tight friendships. So when they start feeling this way, they don't have anybody to talk to, and then they can
yeah.
become depressed. Um, they're so independent, and they're not worried about not having friends. They're totally fine not to have any friends, because they just like to be independent and just achieve all the things. They put off happiness and joy for later, because right now it's business. Right now I have things to do. Happiness and joy will come later. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. But then it never
Um,
comes because you just continue that way.
right. hmm They're very
Or
driven.
that kind of leads to the depression that could be a
Yeah,
part of this too.
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right? Yeah.
hmm this is a very black remedy, dark depression, no way out. They feel like there's no way out. This is hopelessness. Um, depression is suppressed emotion.
Mm,
So, when we say Aurum doesn't have time for emotions, it's not that they don't have any. God gave us emotions. They're just suppressing those emotions because they don't want to deal with them. They don't want to do that. Um, they won't know what emotion they've suppressed, which makes it a very dark and difficult to get out of. And there's probably some anger in there. They can
So
be
they don't
quite
identify the
angry.
emotions. So when they're feeling this bad, they don't know why. They can't articulate that,
Yeah.
which probably
Mhm.
helps or contributes to the hopelessness, feeling like I don't even know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
They can be quite angry. Um, maybe they've been cheated of achieving something. So if they thought they should have achieved it and they didn't get
Like
to
somebody else
because,
got that job promotion.
right?
Mm,
Or mama got pregnant. Mama was on this track,
mm,
and then her and her husband got
yeah.
pregnant, and now there's this baby, and that's stopping everything.
Mm.
Or illness or an injury. They've been cheated out of an achievement, lost property. It's a banker's remedy.
That's funny.
Everything's gone. So when they've lost everything and everything's gone, and they're hopeless and depressed, and you think of RMET, and they're very sensitive to contradiction. They don't like criticism. You cannot, what's the word?
Critique? Criticize?
Um, what's the word in front of criticize that's positive?
Oh, constructive.
Constructive. No, they can't do constructive criticism.
Okay.
Criticism is criticism. They're not going to take constructive criticism. You're still just criticizing them.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so good.
When it
I mean,
should be
I might feel like
taken
that a little
as
bit, okay?
it
For
should be
different
taken as,
reasons. Yeah.
yeah. It should be, I love it. I love when I get corrected in love
Yes.
and by somebody that I respect. I'm like, yes, okay.
But you know
Because
what? Oh, wait. I keep thinking about it's an identity problem. And this I mean, I know we do always talk about Jesus here, so if you're new to this, that's a thing that we do. So, you might need to get used to it. But it's an identity problem, and the constructive criticism is part of that. Like when you're confident and you're
yeah.
comfortable in your identity in Christ, constructive criticism is helpful and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Yes. Yes, I really, really do. I really do love the constructive criticism or the correction when it's done in love by somebody that I respect, because then I know they're calling me up higher. That's
Mhm.
what we're called to do as Christians. We are called to we are supposed to call each other higher with the Lord, and and we shouldn't let each other sit in our own mess. Come on,
Yeah.
let's get up. Let's get up. We're
Yep.
getting better and better. Um, so they feel like they are perfect. You can't criticize them. They're perfect.
Mhm.
So do you want to, so that's all mental. I talked about all the mental
Yeah, that's
things.
a
Let's
huge
talk about,
mental remedy.
yeah, it really is. It really is. And let me say, um, I like to do, so you could do a 30 or a 200 or even
Mm.
yeah, I would do a 30 or 200 um, every other day, every 3 days, you know. Um, so the 200s and above are more mental, have more of a mental
Oh,
effect
okay. So that's why
on the
you would start
person.
higher a little bit. It's not higher, but higher than the 12 or something
Yeah. Yeah.
because
The
it's more of a
12s and
mental.
6s are more physical. So more for the physical effects in the person. So
Um,
tell us about the physicals of RMET.
yes, okay. The physicals, this is a shorter list, so this won't take me long. Aramet is a great circulatory remedy. So a lot of these things you'll hear me say are the circulatory system. They use gold injections for arthritis and rheumatism. That's
What?
fascinating.
They really do? Is that
I
true?
yes.
You're like,
Um,
I'm reading your notes.
you should Google this. Yeah, right. These are your notes. I'm kidding. Do some research on that, but that is so very. I would love to know.
Yeah.
Aramet is good for swelling of the joints. It's
Mm,
syphilitic, so that's good for bone pains,
mhm,
severe bone pain, and is a great heart remedy. So, like I mentioned before, heart valve problems, maybe high
mhm,
blood pressure, and
mhm.
there are other good high blood pressure remedies too, and even surgings of blood to the head. So I'm thinking like that pounding,
Headache.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe when you like feel like a slight movement. I know sometimes there are people when you stand up or you lay down too fast. I know it's normal to some degree, but when that
Ah,
happens a lot and like
yeah,
suddenly you feel the surge of blood,
yeah,
that's what comes to my mind.
yeah, and that's a blood pressure usually, or
Yes.
maybe,
Yep.
could be a blood pressure thing. Mhm.
Um, I did want to ask you a question though. I know some people are really worried about aggravations. This is my little dude. Summit comes to join us in here. Wait 1 minute.
Hey,
Um,
Summer.
would you ever be worried
No,
about
it's my band.
or it's so
A speed band.
yeah,
Speed ninja band.
speed ninja band. Okay, that's so cute.
Would you ever be worried about
Okay, so I know there are some people who are really concerned about aggravations, and some remedies do aggravate, and it's totally fine. In a mental picture like this, if you have a suicidal person, do you know if RMET would ever aggravate something like that? Or are mental aggravations different than a physical one?
so aggravations, yes, can happen mentally. I would absolutely not expect for RMET to cause someone to want to commit suicide.
Like it wouldn't make it that part worse. I don't think it would ever make a new symptom like if they hadn't been suicidal, but maybe a suicidal person taking it would
Yeah,
never exacerbate that feeling.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. And I'm asking
So
that partially too. I don't know if anybody had that question, but
yeah,
just
so
to
I which is another reason, which is another reason I don't do like 200 twice a day. That's just too
right.
much RMET.
Yeah.
You might do 200 once a week for
Hmm.
RMET, especially if you're worried about that or concerned. Start slow, 200 once a week, and then twice a week after a few weeks if you're not feeling better. So I see beautiful results with RMET in the mental picture and in fatigue. So when people are really tired and dragged down, RMET seems to be helpful. RMET is your just really, we said earlier dutiful. It just reminded me, I just remembered, it's the really responsible man that's, maybe he's got a position at church, and he's got a high powered job, or a job where he's got lots of responsibility. He's got lots of responsibility at church. He's got responsibility in his community. Maybe he's on some boards, and he's got all these responsibilities because he's so responsible, and he wants to do all these things, but he's struggling mentally.
And
Then
so you were saying before that you would give this, if you feel like the perfectionist need is affecting, like, what did you say? Disrupting
interrupting
their
life,
life.
yeah.
So that could be something. You don't have to wait until this person is depressed, or I mean, they might never be truly depressed, but
Mhm.
that's really good to know. I think in that case, maybe that would be something you start slower because it's not a huge pressing issue, but maybe somebody's
Right.
just wearing themselves out, or you start seeing in different
Mhm.
seasons of life. I know that I can think of a couple people who I'm like, man, that could have been helpful,
Mhm.
um, just to help them move through that in a mentally healthy space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So often I see people on medications for depression, anxiety,
Yeah,
and they don't help.
yeah.
And then
Or
they're on this,
you just have to play with them so much. Like you have to,
yeah,
you
the
try this one and something bad happens. You have to try
yeah.
another. Like the effects of them sometimes are really terrible.
Most of these consults that I do, they're on the medications, but the medications aren't helping. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
But they're still taking them because
because the doctor said,
doctor
if you
said to do it.
listen, I can't tell you how often I've heard it. A person has told me, my doctor said, if I
Mhm.
stop taking this, I'm going to get very much worse. I'm going to go downhill fast. That's scary.
It is really sad too.
That's, even if you don't feel better on it, I better not stop because I'm going to get much worse.
Yeah.
Homeopathy can help you get off those medications. So you don't need to stop your medications to start using
Mhm.
homeopathy. And you never ever want to encourage anybody you don't want to tell somebody else to stop their
Mhm.
medications. That's between them and their doctor. I'm never going to tell you to stop your medications. You decide between you and your doctor when to stop, how to stop. But homeopathy can help you get to the point where you can stop safely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank
Thank you.
you, Bree. We will see you next time on Homeopathy at Home with Melissa.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.